Seedlings take root in the secluded valley. Then True carefully transplants them by the stream, trusting 15 days to transform fragile sprouts into vibrant greens. This initial harvest is vital for his survival. He swiftly cuts mature roots with a custom spade, then buries potato tubers in soft earth to ensure future yields. He stir-fries the fresh greens in the hot wok, then plates them neatly with sliced sausage. Sitting by the fading embers, he savors each bite of this humble meal with quiet and deep satisfaction. Dawn breaks mist, clings to towering pines as then True sweeps the wooden deck, clearing leaves and debris. This rhythmic motion maintains order against the wild, serving as mental preparation for the labor ahead. Stepping from the cabin, Van True calls out to the poultry. He scatters a handful of grains across the dirt, feeding the hungry flock. Vibrant roosters and hens swarm his feet, responding to the familiar rhythm of his daily provision. This steady distribution ensures the vitality of his livestock. Kneeling on the terrace, then True gently brushes the dog's fur with a blue comb. He then spreads colorful kibble on a woven tray for the anxious pet. This tender care reinforces their bond, transforming a working animal into an indispensable family member. Water flows, carrying a heavy green watering can. He strides toward the stream to draw fresh water, immediately returning to nourish the thirsty vegetable beds. He rotates the spout to wash away dust from the leaves, revitalizing the crops with every precise movement. Finishing the final section, he gazes at the refreshed plants, knowing that consistent hydration is the absolute lifeline of his mountainous farm. He moves to a section of broad-leafed crops, raising the spout so moisture penetrates deep beneath the dense canopy. The dark soil eagerly absorbs the water, signaling the completion of this crucial irrigation cycle. Setting the empty can aside, he shifts his focus to the next task. Earth turns. Gripping a small iron hoe, he forcefully breaks up the compacted soil around the plant roots, sending tiny clouds of dust into the air. His fingers sift through the freshly turned dirt, meticulously extracting hidden pests and decaying leaves to protect the vulnerable root systems bathed in the slanting sunlight. This relentless weeding ensures that every single crop receives the unobstructed nutrients it desperately needs. Greens gathered crouching in the vegetable bed, Van True carefully loosens the soil to harvest the lush mustard greens. His movement steady and deliberate. He parts the dense foliage to slice off the target leaves, making sure not to damage the delicate stems or the remaining root structure. After clearing the initial section, he gently covers the exposed roots with fresh earth, preserving the plant's potential for a secondary growth cycle that will sustain future yields. Terrace is fed, navigating the stone pads with a green watering can. He distributes a fine mist over the emerald mustard greens. The droplets sparkle brightly under the warm sun as his steady pace across the uneven terrain guarantees that every tier of the terraced garden receives an equal share of hydration as the final drops fall from the leaf edges. The comprehensive watering task concludes, leaving the entire valley vibrant and thoroughly nourished by his careful labor. New ground broken, retrieving a heavy hoe, he attacks the hard until earth of an empty plot, shattering the stubborn clouds with sheer physical force. He repeatedly turns the soil and uses the back of the tool to pet the surface flat, carving out a straight, soft ridge from the barren slope. This grueling preparation is not merely about moving dirt, but about creating a perfect cradle for the next generation of seeds, demonstrating his immense endurance and unwavering dedication to the land. Seeds prepared, carrying a full basin of freshly harvested potatoes, He skillfully has each tuber with a clean, decisive cut, deliberately exposing the smooth inner flesh to the mountain air. He then evenly scatters rich wood ash over the newly formed ridge, utilizing this time-honored agricultural method to prevent rot and provide essential potassium to the soil. This meticulous treatment of the seed potatoes transforms ordinary raw materials into resilient crops, honoring the ancestral wisdom of sustainable farming. Sowing begins. Surveying the ash-dusted ridge with a satisfied nod, he smooths the soil and positions himself to begin the actual planting. Holding a blue basin, he places each seed potato precisely into the trench, ensuring the sprouting eyes face upward to maximize growth potential. Moving steadily backward along the ridge, he repeats the placement process, embedding the future harvest securely within the dark, fertile earth. Earth covers with extreme focus. He pushes the soil from both sides of the trench toward the center, completely burying the seed potatoes in their soft bed. Standing up to survey the newly planted ridge, he evaluates the layout against the backdrop of the distant cat and flowing stream. This final covering seals the pact between farmer and land, locking in the moisture and warmth required for the impending germination. He returns to the stream, filling his green can while stepping carefully over wet stones. Back at the ridge, he sprinkles water on the loose soil, watching it sink in. This first drink settles the earth around the seed potatoes, removing air pockets and waking the dormant tubers. Shifting his attention to the mustard grains. Then True selects mature plants and pulls them whole from the earth. Their emerald leaves glisten with morning dew as he moves through the rows, gathering a substantial bundle that showcases the season's abundant yield. Bulbs set facing a small pile of purplish-red shallot bulbs, some already sprouting tender green tips. He begins to plant them in straight, orderly lines. He then transitions to sowing white garlic cloves along the ridge, maintaining a steady rhythm before gently patting the soil to ensure a flat, even surface. The striking contrast of the colorful bulbs against the dark earth highlights the continuous cycle of renewal driving this mount, in a homestead where each carefully placed seed represents enduring hope for the future harvest season. True crouches on the wooden corridor, rubbing the hound's belly in a moment of play. Hearing his call for food, he rises and heads inside, leaving the loyal dog resting on the porch. Fire lit, kneeling before the traditional earthen stove. Then True arranges dry wood and charcoal with practiced ease, striking a flame that sends thick smoke curling up the chimney. He then vigorously washes the rice in a pot, changing the water 3 times to meticulously remove all impurities. Finally, he places the heavy vessel onto the roaring fire. The flickering flames illuminate his focus profile, marking a quiet transition from daytime agricultural labor to the meticulous art of evening sustenance preparation. Greens cleaned, pinching off the tough roots of the mustard greens, he sorts the leaves and submerges them in the flowing stream water, rubbing them gently to wash away every trace of dirt, as steam aggressively escapes from the boiling rice pot. He lifts the lid and stirs the thickening porridge with a red plastic spoon. The rhythmic stirring ensures the rice cooks evenly, transforming simple grains into a comforting, fragrant base for the impending meal. A soft sigh escapes his lips, revealing a moment of quiet satisfaction amidst the daily labor. The sausages sizzle, moving the porridge to the side to simmer in. Residual heat, he stokes the main fire with fine dry wood to build up the temperature. He then drops 4 whole sausages into the hot pan, where they instantly sizzle and release a cloud of white aromatic smoke. Constantly turning them with chopsticks, he ensures the fat renders perfectly without burning, elevating a simple ingredient into a rich delicacy that glistens under the light. Lifting the brown sausages onto a woven bamboo mat to drain excess oil, he moves with steady precision. Immediately, he takes fresh mustard greens and chops them into uniform pieces within a blue basin, tossing the vegetables into the pan, still coated with rich sausage fat. He adds a few pinches of salt with a casual flick. The intense heat causes the greens to wilt rapidly as steam rises. This seamless transition from meat to vegetables maximizes the flavor profile, creating a perfectly balanced dish from the day's fresh harvest. Meals served slicing the fried sausages into thick, even pieces that reveal the tender pink meat inside. He plates them alongside the steaming stir-fried greens. Before taking his own seat, he first scatters dog food onto a map for the eagerly waiting hounds, and then sits down to devour a large bowl of the hot white porridge. This deliberate order of feeding the animals first, then himself, perfectly encapsulates the selfless responsibility of a true mountain caretaker. Then True clicks off the light, plunging the room into darkness and green night vision. He removes his shoes and pulls up a blue blanket to rest after a long day of labor.